Hey y'all, it's Chris, and welcome back to Creative Loops. This is my channel where I explore all things yarn, crochet, and sometimes knit. And in today's video, I would like to share with you 10 patterns that I have either tried or have run across that will help introduce you to crochet wearables. I was watching a channel the other day. I was watching Greg from Greg's Loops, and Greg mentioned being very intimidated to try to create crochet wearables. And I know I was also very intimidated by the idea of making wearable items with my crochet, and usually stuck to blankets and shawls and flat crochet that didn't require a lot of measurements or shaping. I slowly started branching out and trying some beginner level patterns that really helped me get the idea of what it was like to make something that would be worn by either me or someone else. And so it can be intimidating, but there are patterns out there that will really walk you through and help you learn the basics so that it's not that difficult to really get into making wearables. And before you know it, you'll be wanting to make something for everyone you know. If you are new to my channel, I usually will come on here and share my thoughts on my crochet makes that I've made throughout the week, any patterns that I've tried, any yarn that I bought, and every now and then my 9-year-old son Dante will join me as a part of these videos. Dante is my creative director for these videos and will help provide his skills to editing these videos, as well as just any additional comments that might come up. He's not here with me filming today, but sometimes in videos you might see or hear him next to me. So let's get into these patterns. Before we get started, all of these patterns are going to be patterns that are something that would work across all genders. So I mainly crochet some clothing that is more for more masculine presenting people. I crochet for myself, my husband, my sons. I will sometimes crochet for my aunts and cousins and more feminine presenting people in my life, but I do lean more towards more masculine presenting clothing and articles of clothing that I like to crochet for myself. So a lot of these patterns, all of these patterns are patterns that can be used for both female, male presenting individuals, whoever you want to make clothing for. These patterns should work for anyone. This will be a list of patterns that can be worn by anybody. The first pattern that I'm going to share with y'all is from the queen of Tunisian crochet herself, Toni Lipsy. Toni Lipsy from TLYarnCrafts is the person that really taught me how to do Tunisian crochet. I found her videos when I was more into my knitting at the time and didn't really care too much to crochet, and so watching her videos, watching Tunisian crochet really sparked my joy for starting to crochet again, and I've been crocheting more than knitting ever since. So Toni released her own version of the HexaGranny stitch cardigan, and she calls it the HexaGranny Cardigan. It is a paid pattern, so if you're going to purchase the pattern, you can purchase it from her website, TLYarnCrafts.com, and it does have a $9.50 price tag to it. However, if you look at the page, you can find the free PDF link on that page. In order to get the PDF for free, you would click that link and sign up for her newsletter. If you're already signed up for her newsletter, you can go through, click it again, sign up. It will still send you the PDF link for the pattern. So you can get the pattern for free, but if you would like to support a crochet maker, she has the pattern for sale on her website for $9.50. Being completely honest, I do think that $9.50 price tag is a bit high. Sorry, Toni. You can find the HexaGranny Cardigan for free. There's a lot of free tutorials online. This pattern itself also has a tutorial linked to it, so when you get the PDF pattern, you'll also have a link to Toni's tutorial video for that pattern. So you don't even need to purchase the pattern or have the PDF file in order to access the video that she has on her website, which I'll link in the description box below. But yeah, so you don't even need to purchase the pattern. You can follow her tutorial video. It is a very simple project. Hexagon cardigans is often the go-to for anyone that's trying to branch into wearables because it's such a simple process. You start with a small hexagon. If you know how to make a square using the granny stitch, creating a hexagon using the granny stitch is very similar. You just add on 2 more clusters when you're starting it, and then you just keep 6 corners instead of 4. And as you're building it out, it really creates this flat piece that you can then fold up and seam together to create the cardigan. It's a very simple process. Once you watch the tutorial videos, you'll already know what to do if you're familiar with how to do the granny stitch. So this is definitely what I would recommend for anyone who has never made a crochet wearable before and is looking to branch out into it. Start off with the hexagon granny cardigan. And the reason that I recommend Toni's pattern over anyone else's is because Toni is so good at adding in those additional finishing stitches along the edges, talking you through how to adjust the shape so that it fits you just right, how to measure and where to measure different parts of your body so that you know as you're making it how long you want it, how short you want it. She also doesn't do the oversized sleeves. So one of my pet peeves with the hexagon granny stitch cardigan is that a lot of folks will just keep doing the hexagon in the rounds until they have it long enough for their body, which makes the sleeves oversized because the sleeves will have the same number of rows as what you have going around your torso, which you don't need something going around your arms that's as thick as it's going to go around the side of your body. So those oversized sleeves are not for me. If you like the oversized sleeves, go for it. It is a great look, but it's not a good look for me. So Toni will help you know how to stop, where to stop in order to make sure that the sleeves aren't too big for you. If you want them big, great. If you don't want them big, she will show you how to make them fit just right. So this next pattern that I'm going to show you is a pattern by Sehal Crochet Design. So this person makes a lot of like hoodies and shirts. I am looking at the sideways mesh sleeveless hoodie. So it looks more complicated than it really is because this pattern is worked sideways. So you start off on one edge and then you just slowly work your way across and you're making the front portion of it, you keep it connected, and then you make the right side of it, and then you're making the back portion of it. And so it's all one piece that you would then seam together in certain areas. So it is very, very simple. And for the most part, the stitches that are used are just single crochets and double crochets. So it is very, very beginner friendly. There are a few moments where it might be a little confusing because there are a couple of stitches like a beginning double crochet 2 together and a beginning double crochet 3 together that can get a little confusing, but in the pattern it walks you through what that stitch means. It gives you a clear definition of the stitch. This pattern you can get for free off of SehalCrochetDesign.com, and they have a whole list of free patterns that you can download. They do have a link where you can donate through PayPal if you want to donate for any amount that you feel the pattern is worth. If you have that amount to give, you can donate some funds to the pattern designer. So this is super beginner friendly. It is a great once you make this will be great for fall. It can be great for summer, depending on if you're using a cotton yarn, a wool yarn, acrylic yarn. Depending on the yarn choice that you have, it could be good all year round. So it's a beautiful piece that you create, and it's very, very simple. All you really have to do once you're done creating that one solid piece is you go back and you add a hood, but then you seam the shoulders and then you seam along one side. The next pattern that I'm going to show you is a free pattern online brand. And so this is a granny top and shorts set. So some caveats here. The shorts can be complicated to make, and I'm not a fan of granny stitch shorts. I like shorts that do not have the gaps and holes. A granny stitch pattern has a lot of gaps and holes in it, and when you're making a short set, that's not always what you want to go for. You can always wear longer underwear, black underwear. You can wear a tighter pair of shorts underneath so that even though it's see-through, you're still leaving something to the imagination. But I prefer something that doesn't even open it up to the imagination. So if you can keep the imagination closed, that's the type of shorts that I want. And so, hey, it's a very simple design, and if it's something that fits your style, I say go for it. The shirt pattern that comes along with it is very simple. It shows you how to add a collar to the granny stitch shirt. The shirt is open. It does have longer sleeves, but you can make it with short sleeves, so perfect for fall or summer. And Online Brand's website, you can purchase it as a kit. So you can purchase the pattern along with all of the yarn that you want. You can change up the yarn colors if you want. And the yarn that comes in the kit is made with Love, the cottony one. So you can, I think, change the type of yarn that comes with the kit as well. But you can also just click the download free pattern link and you can get the pattern for free and use whatever yarn you have in your stash. Branching away from granny stitches for a little bit, we now have another Toni Lipsy pattern. So a pattern from Toni and her collaboration with Hobbii. And so this is on Hobbie's website. It is the maple sweater. So if you're not familiar with Toni Lipsy, Toni partnered with Hobbii to come out with two different yarn lines so far. The first one was Happy Place, which was a wool and cotton blend, and then the second yarn that she has with Hobbii is Happy Place Apricity, which is a wool and alpaca blend. And both of those yarns, I've tried the Happy Place Apricity and really love it. I have not tried the wool cotton one yet. I just haven't bought it yet. I would love to try it, so maybe one day I'll purchase some more yarn from Hobbii and throw some of that in the cart. But this pattern is the maple sweater pattern. This was released with the yarn Happy Place Apricity, and so you can purchase it. You can purchase the yarn on Hobbii's website, but you can also download the pattern for free. And so this is a pattern that is worked raglan style. And if you're not familiar with what a raglan style pattern is, it's one that starts at the neck and then you start to work your way down, and it starts off as one whole single thing that you're just working on your way down. And then once you get to a certain length, you would then join where the arms come together. This is a great pattern for a fall, especially if you're using Happy Place Apricity. This would be an amazing fall sweater. So if you're looking for some fall articles of clothing that will help keep you nice and warm, using Happy Place Apricity with this pattern is an amazing sweater. I was using this pattern for the Happy Place Apricity yarn that I had purchased, and I just didn't like the way the yarn that I have, the colors that I have were working up with this pattern. So I'm probably I already frogged it, and I started making a different cardigan with that yarn, but I do want to use this pattern with a different yarn, a more chunky yarn. I think this pattern would look amazing in a nice chunky, maybe like a woolies yarn. It would look great in a woolies yarn. And it's really simple. I was intimidated by raglan style patterns for a while. This pattern did help me become a little more confident with raglan style, and now I understand the concepts more. That is one thing I really love about Toni Lipsey, is that in her videos she really helps you understand why you're doing something a certain way. And so when it comes to like adding rows to the back of a sweater, because if you're not adding those rows, it can pull up on the collar and create a tighter collar for you. So she talks through like all of those different techniques and reasons why you might make certain alterations before you even start to do the alteration. So I love that it was so easy to understand. The next pattern that I have is by another queen of crochet here on YouTube, Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet, and it is the Easy Crochet Men's Poncho. I made this pattern for my husband and I absolutely loved working this pattern up. It is so simple. You work it sideways as well, and so you just create two huge rectangular panels and then you seam them together and you leave an opening for your head. And so it's really simple. It's a really cool design. I loved making this, and I want to make one for myself as well because I do love a good poncho. This is so beginner friendly. There's also, so you can buy this pattern on Etsy for $5.99. But there's also a free tutorial video available. So if you don't want to buy the pattern and you're good working from a video, you can find the tutorial video on Crystal's Bag O' Day Crochet channel. If you do need a pattern to work from and a tutorial video isn't something that works for your style of learning, the pattern is on Etsy for $5.99. So really good pattern. It is very simple to work through and very easy for a beginner to do, and you don't even need to do a lot of measurements. You don't need to try and do a fit as you go type of thing. It is a very simple project that is almost one size fits most, so you can sit down, zone out, and not even worry about whether it's going to fit you or not. The next two patterns are very similar style of patterns, and they are free on blogs. So the first one is from Mason Jar Yarn Designs, and it's just the crochet hoodie. It's a harvest hooded sweater. And then the second one is from Crochet with Carrie, and it is the crochet oversized hood cardigan. The main difference between these two patterns is that one is a full sweater, so it does not open in the middle, and the other one is a cardigan that opens in the middle, so you can just pull it on, pull it off. The other one is a pull over hoodie. And so both of these follow a very simple kind of design where it's mostly either double crochets or half double crochets. You can add ribbing to the bottom and to the sleeves, and you seam them together. You just sew the rectangular panels together to create the sleeves, the back, the front, and the hood. So they're both very, very simple patterns that any beginner can do and can use, and it really is just creating those rectangular pieces that you then seam together. Now, branching into something a little more intermediate, I hope you don't get intimidated by this before you see it. So this pattern is by Edwin, and Edwin has a website, Unraveland.com. This is the Reverie Crochet Vest. So what this is, it looks very complicated because the granny square pattern that is used to make the vest is very detailed and is just beautiful, but you can really use any granny square design that you want to make this vest. It really is just creating a couple of squares, putting those squares together in the shape of a vest, and then adding some ribbing along the sleeves, the neckline, and the bottom of the vest. So it seems so much more complicated than it really is. If you want to learn Edwin's granny square pattern design. It is simple. Don't let it intimidate you. It is a very easy to learn granny square design. And the instructions in the pattern help you really understand how to put it together. You can buy this pattern for $7. So this pattern is not available for free. This pattern is paid only, and you can get it on Unraveland.com for $7. So this is one pattern that I'm sharing that you cannot find a free version for, but it is very simple. I have not made this pattern yet, but it is saved. I did buy it and I saved it. So it's on my to-do list along with like hundreds of other patterns. Sticking with Edwin for a second, we have another pattern. It is the Love Keeper Crochet shirt pattern. This again is a very simple pattern that seems more complicated. It looks more complicated than it really is. It is again mostly just creating panels. So you're creating a rectangular panel for the arms. You're creating a rectangular pattern for the rectangular panel for the back, and then you have two rectangular panels for the front sides. And then the pattern does show you how to add buttons to it, and then add a collar. It looks really cool. It does require some color changing in there, and the end result is a really nice cardigan that you can, depending on the fiber that you're using, it could be good for the summer, but it could also be a really nice fall kind of cardigan piece that you put together as well. So this pattern, again, it's not for free. So this pattern is $6 on Unraveland.com. So if you go to Edwin's website, you can find it for $6 on there. Edwin does have a bundle that includes a lot of their shirt patterns or top patterns I think you can get 11 patterns for $72, or you can get 9 patterns for $50. So they do offer some bundles. If you like a lot of their patterns, you can get them all at once for a higher price, but I think it's all worth it when you're looking at what these patterns look like and the detail that's included in them. I feel like the price, you're paying a premium price for these patterns and you're getting a premium pattern. Now we're into our final stretch. The next pattern is another pattern by Crystal from Bag O' Day Crochet, and this is Crystal's crochet cape. I love a good dramatic cape. I love a good dramatic robe. You give me something that I can drape over me, and this is beautiful. It's basically a blanket that is in the shape of a cape that you can drape over you. It is so beautifully done. Crystal does an amazing job of teaching you how to do each stitch so that you fully understand the stitch patterns. Crystal is another amazing crochet teacher here on YouTube. So honestly, between both Crystal and Toni, the two of them together could teach you anything and everything you need to know about crochet. Just seriously. This pattern might seem a little complicated, but once you get into it, you'll get into the swing of things. You can purchase this pattern on Etsy for $5.99, but Crystal also has a tutorial available. So there is a free tutorial. If you are able to, again, work from a tutorial and not need a written pattern, you can do it for free. Otherwise, if you need a written pattern, you can buy it on Etsy for $5.99. The final pattern that I have for you all today is going back to the basics. It's a Sehal crochet design pattern, the Sehal t-shirt pattern. So this again is available for free on SehalCrochetDesign.com. And there is an option to donate through PayPal if you would like to donate something for the pattern, but you can get the free download link there. You can also find a YouTube tutorial link on the website where you would download the pattern as well. And so the tutorial and the pattern will just show you how you're crocheting in flat panels again, and then seaming the panels together, and you're creating this very beautiful t-shirt. And so it shows you how to create some some designs in the t-shirt if you do want to create a designed t-shirt where to change some colors, but overall it creates a very basic, very simple t-shirt that would be perfect for the fall weather that is hopefully coming really soon. So that is everything that I have for you today. Just really wanted to walk you through some of the patterns that I have seen and purchased, or patterns that I've also used that could be really great at introducing you to doing more wearables. I know wearables, again, can be very intimidating, but if you find the right pattern, you won't have any problems. And so I'm hoping that out of these 10 patterns, you will find one that speaks to you and that can really help you get into the swing of things and making those crochet wearables either for yourself or your loved ones. So please keep those creative loops going, and I hope to see you again next week. If you liked what you saw in this video, hit that like button, and if you have not subscribed yet, you know you like it here, go ahead and subscribe. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time.